Have you been in any social situation and you felt completely drained of your energy and you can't seem to figure out why? Like you were happy, you're feeling all these emotions of joy, happiness, peace. You were in your state. You had this high vibrational state of being and you just entered this party, entered the social gathering, and you wonder why. Like you felt your energy just leave your body. You felt like your soul has been drained off of you, and you're sitting there, you're wondering why, and then you want to just leave back home. You want to leave immediately. You don't want to spend any minute staying in that social situation. Now there's many layers to this. The initial layer, or the most common one and the most obvious one, is you go have a conversation with somebody that triggers emotions such as anger, shame, guilt, or they trigger the insecurities that you have. They kind of get inside your head, and it kind of they drain your energy while having a conversation with you. And most of the times you know it, sometimes you don't know it. It's like only midway in the conversation, or when it's about to end, you realize like this person is talking about things that are not so pleasant throughout this entire experience in this conversation, and I am not feeling good. Like that is the most common one, because these people are essentially energy vampires. What that basically means is they do not have the ability to feel all these higher vibrational emotions on a consistent basis, and they primarily vibrate in this lower vibrational state, which correlates to emotions such as anger, hate, shame, envy, jealousy. And usually they'll start off the conversation by putting you off your vibrational state. Let's say you're feeling immense joy, you're really excited, and you are just vibing. They will put you off of your state. They'll pull you down to their state. It may be a gossip, which they start like, oh my god, have you heard about that news? Have you heard about Stacy? Have you heard about John? This happened yesterday. Or they will induce fear in you. Oh my god, what's going to happen in 2 months? Like the whole topic, the whole conversation is going to be based around emotions that kind of correlate to fear, anger, envy, jealousy, comparison, insecurities that you have. And in a way, like you can actually consciously be so aware that they are enjoying this. And if you actually notice, and if you audit the conversation that you have with these energy vampires, like by the end of the conversation, like they are more happier. Like they have enjoyed that conversation, and you are here, you're drained. In a way, they have taken your energy. And so, the term called energy vampire, is because they do not have the ability to tap into the infinite source of abundance that is out there, the infinite source of love energy, happiness, joy. They do not have the ability to tap into that. So they use you as a source. They use you as an energetic source and drain that vibrational, feelings of love, joy, and in a way they get charged up. They feel good. When they pull you down, they kind of feel good. Now, there's this community, a certain community in the pickup artistry world where they teach this concept called negging. And this is very similar to this energy vampire, dynamic, or the energy vampire process. Like how they do it is negging is basically when you see a woman, and these guys, they know that they are not, a good match for this woman or girl. And it's basically negging is a way where you put down the woman's self-esteem. You bring it down to your level. And I know it sounds weird, it sounds backward, and it sounds so messed up, but this is what these pickup artist guys do it. And it's so weird. Like in a way, they will compliment a woman and they will tell some insulting thing, like with that compliment, just packaged it nicely. They'll insult a woman by giving them a compliment, bring down their emotional state, and in a way, it's like manipulating the woman in order to get what they want. And this will kind of works out in the short term, but in the long term, it you don't really get a stable relationship with any girl. You don't really get a stable relationship with any woman. It kind of goes downhill. And that basically is the same, a very good example of this energy vampire dynamic that plays out in any given social situation. It's because these people, they believe that they are not in the same match or same vibrational match as yours. They see you as an energy source. They're unable to tap into that infinite source of abundance, and they kind of connect to you, bring you down from your high vibrational state. And then when energy is being drained out of you, it flows to them. Now, it sounds very esoteric, but this is basically true because energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one state to another. So when you're feeling happiness, joy, like you say this term, like, I have been drained of my energy when I went to this party. Like, where do you think the energy goes? It goes to the other person. You think the energy just dissipates? The other person has literally drained the energy from you. And so that's why he's called an energy vampire. It's basically they're draining that energy off of you. And you wonder why they get so amped up. They get in state. They feel so good after, introducing conversations about fear, about anger, about gossip. And the more people that they go talk to, it's like they're bringing the energy down of all these individuals. And then in the end, these energy vampires are so charged up, and they're vibing high, and they're literally, just feeling this immense energy. But this does not put them in a very high vibrational state. This kind of because they don't, have the ability to tap into the high vibrational state. It's like they're stealing other people's energy in order to feel good on the inside, but they don't feel good on the inside. It's like they're taking all energy from various people, and then they realize like they don't really feel good doing this. And this, just goes on into this downward spiral. They go into shame, they go into guilt, and they start projecting it outside. Now, this is the first layer that happens in a social interaction that causes you to feel drained of your energy. Now, the next layer, now this gets really deep. Now, the next layer is the reason you feel drained of your energy is because you have allowed the energy to be drained off of you. It's because when this other person, of course, you cannot control external circumstances, but you have complete control over your mind. Like when the other person is triggering all these thoughts, you have the ability to control your emotional triggers. And it's because you allow these triggers to take place. And when these triggers take place, and when you're hit with this, tsunami wave of emotions, that's when you start to lose control of your state. You start to lose control of your mind. And that's when you kind of lose this energy that you have. It's because when they say something, that induces fear, you allow yourself to experience fear. And in a way, the more you're afraid, the more it fuels them, the more it charges them. And you've seen that movie right now, Monsters Inc. And in that movie, these monsters go and scare kids in their bedrooms. And if you see, the more fear is induced in that child, and the more the child screams out of fear, the more energy that they're able to source, and they just charge up their stations and stuff. And that is similar. It's very similar, and it's so weird and frightening because I just realized like that is a very good depiction of an energy vampire. It's basically a monster coming and inducing all these negative emotions, and seeing that how you react, and the more you react, the more energy that they're able to source. And it's so weird. I just thought about it, and wow, my entire childhood is ruined right now. Probably yours too, but anyway, so basically when you allow the other person to trigger you and get inside your head, that's when you lose this energy. But when you are in state, right, it's not like when this other person comes start some gossip topic, oh my god, we're gonna go into world war and stuff, and you're like, no, you're trying to trigger my emotions, and I don't really comply with that. I am in state, I am in complete control, I do not associate with the energy vampires. Like, I mean, of course, you can't do that because of the social situation, and of course, nobody, do not shut them off like that. But in a way, you're not going into extremes of telling them no in their face, but also you're not completely giving in to that situation. It's like there's always this balance. You're stoic, you're calm, and in a way, you have this James Bond charisma. What would James Bond do? Would James Bond overly react when this other person is trying to trigger James Bond? Or would James Bond completely surrender himself into the other person's clutches, if you know what I mean? It's basically you're being stoic. You're being so certain, you're being assertive. Like no matter what the other person says, no matter what the other person tries to trigger you and bring up all these dark emotions, you do not allow it. It's like you allow them to speak. If they're telling something very fear-inducing or something which is not really great, and you're feeling all these emotions on the inside, accept that you're feeling these emotions on the inside, and then do a self-audit. Like let them speak, allow them to finish what they're trying to say, and then you do not fuel that conversation. You do not give it more energy, and you do not give in to their traps. It's like they want you to react in a certain way. It's like they're projecting their own inner demons onto you, and they're expecting you to react in anger, in shame, in jealousy, in envy, in gossip, in whatever it may be. They're expecting you to give out a reaction. And when you give out that reaction, it's like they're getting more amped up. They're getting more energy from you. They're draining more energy from you. And you feel more and more and more tired by the end of the conversation. And you just want to go home, lie down, sleep. And you don't want to talk to anybody for 6 months. Like literally, this is how, it feels when you come across, especially narcissists, sociopaths, and these people who practice this on a regular basis. Like people who drain other people's energy on a regular basis are very dangerous people. Like you go talk to them for just 5 minutes, and you'll feel like not talking to anybody for 6 months because they made you feel so bad in that given situation, and they're so good at that art. Like you don't really associate, this problem with them. Like you don't really blame them. Like you don't even know that they did it. It's like you're blaming yourself. Like I have social anxiety. I'm not good at social situations, and you kind of self-isolate for 6 months, sometimes even years. So this is basically, it's basically protecting your energy, basically protecting your mind, your emotions from these energy vampires, sociopaths, and narcissists. And then you reach the final layer. The final layer, now it's going to get real esoteric right now. It's basically is, whenever you are going out to any social situation, you're essentially, experiencing a mirror reflection of your beliefs, your thought patterns, your inner reality, your emotional state that you are experiencing. Now it gets really deep and weird, because if you are always experiencing somebody who comes and come and hurts you, it's probably in the subconscious mind that you are attracting these people. If this happens on a very regular basis, and it happens very constantly, it's like you're attracting them. And it's very similar to attracting toxic people in relationships. It's very similar to attracting toxic friends. If you always end up in toxic relationships, it's not the relationships that is a problem, it's probably you. And I'm not trying to put the blame on you and tell, no, you are attracting. No, what I mean is like some things would happen in your childhood. All right, there are some unresolved issues that kind of manifest as other people in your life. For example, if you had a very narcissistic dad, mom, narcissistic parents, and if you had people who always put you down in your childhood, it may be your parents, it may be your extended family members, your uncles, your aunts, your granddad, your grandma. And if while growing up, if your environment was consistently not supportive of whatever you did, but what always punished you, always brought out the negative emotions, always brought out these lower vibrational emotions such as anger, Shame, guilt always made you feel guilty, always made you feel shameful. You are used to that, all right? In a way, you are expecting that to happen. And when you grow up, you don't really, let go of this. And in a way, you don't really forgive this energy. Sometimes you blame your parents, you blame your, upbringing, like for you to be this way. And no judgment here, because even I did at the beginning before doing all this inner work. And you're going on about your regular life. And it's like you are attracting a similar energetic pattern over and over again. It's like your friends are also triggering all these lower vibrational emotions. And if you actually do the self audit, if you actually sit down, it's a mirror reflection of your childhood. What you believed is familiar. And in a way, like when you come out of this, all right, when you overcome this and you reach this space where you are not experiencing people who trigger lower vibrational emotions, who trigger the shame, who make you feel guilty, who make you feel anger. Like you will experience that, but then you will start to panic because this does not feel familiar. It's like you have been in toxic relationships throughout your entire life, and then once you find a healthy partner, this does not feel normal. Peace is not normal. Chaos was normal. And you freak out and you go back to that toxic relationship, or you turn that relationship into a toxic one, or you just break up with the partner. So that is basically, applies here, even in the social context. It's like if you're not healed from your childhood trauma, it's like you're projecting the same energy out there. Because your reality, like the people that you meet on a regular basis, like if you're always bumping into energy vampires, it's like in your childhood, you have experienced this experience and you're okay with it. This feels familiar. You're not really let go of it. You're not really, overcome those inner demons. You're not really overcome that trauma. And this kind of manifests right now in your adult life. Right now, like it's just going on about your day and every people that you meet, everyone that you meet. And you always find yourself in this constant state of battling people who drain your energy, battling places that drain your energy because this feels familiar. In a way, if you do the inner work, all right, if you do the inner work, raise your vibrational state and not allow any external triggers to trigger you, and you make this, your new reality, like you actually cement it, make a solid foundation and you actually cement it, you will start noticing these patterns are slowly fading away. And whenever you enter a social situation, it's like your energy actually projects outside. And if your aura is strong, and this essentially is aura, like whatever you're feeling, the other person also feels it. If you're feeling immense anger, and you can be the best actor in the world, and you can say, I'm happy, like, wow, I'm doing really good, man. And that anger will radiate outside of you. And people can tell that you are feeling angry. And once you come out, right, once you overcome all these inner demons and you're pure on the inside and your vibrational state is completely aligned, in this higher vibrational frequency. And then you go out there, your energy projection is going to be so strong that your reality, like the people around you, will also, feel that immense energy of love. Because love is a more powerful frequency than anger. Love vibrates at a very high level and it carries more energy than anger, than shame, than guilt, than envy, than jealousy, than apathy. It's like through love, you can heal other people. And in a way, sometimes also you will be tested by these energy vampires. You'll be tested, like they will try to bring you down. Like you'll be vibrating the state of love. You'll be having the time of your life. And when you don't react, right, that's when they lose because they're not able to source energy. And if you look at the movie Monsters Inc., like these monsters will come and scare the living shit out of these children. And when the children don't react, these monsters freak out. They freak the F out and they cannot source the energy in that weird tablet kind of shaped energy capsule. And they just freak out even more like, am I not scary? Like, what the hell? In a way, they are going into their own demonic energy. They're going into their own trauma. And then you reach the final layer of this entire context. It's like you put yourself in the perspective of the person who's trying to drain your energy. And then you realize like why they do it. They have immense trauma, which they have not let go of. They're not able to, overcome that situation. And in a way, the only way they feel alive is by sourcing energy from other people, by scaring other people, making them angry, bringing out their insecurities. In a way, this makes them feel good. And then it's like you kind of feel you have this pity for them in a way, and you're like, okay. And once you understand this, it'll be so much more easier for you to navigate any conversation. And then also, places contain certain energy. Like if you are really intuitive and you go visit a place, like something is off about that place. Like places carry energy, even cities carry energy. Like if you're really sensitive, if you're really intuitive, you will know certain places carry a certain energy. At that time, trust your intuition, trust your gut feeling, and immediately leave. Because if your gut is telling you like this place is weird, something is off about this place, listen to it. And in a way, there is no logical explanation to this. It's like basically doing all this work, doing all the inner work, learning how to, navigate these triggers, learning how to deal with these energy vampires, and understanding the place that they're coming from, which will make it even more easier for you to deal with them. But also, in a way, you also have to develop your intuition. Because when you develop your intuition, you don't really have to, work your brain to learn all these things. Through your intuition, you will know like what they're about to say, what they're about to not say. And you can develop your intuition and gut feeling only when you do the inner work and let go of the trauma. Because your trauma is taking up too much space in your brain. It's taking too much space in your mind. Only when you let go of it and align yourself in this higher vibrational state, you create more space. You allow more things to flow. And when you reach, brain stages such as the alpha brainwave, the theta state, your subconscious mind is really active. Your subconscious mind is very powerful. It is way more powerful than you can ever imagine. Like you can pick up patterns like this in an instant. Like you will just look at a person and you'll know if this person is trying to drain your energy or not. And you will just enter a room full of people and you'll know, like, is this place having a good energy? Is this place having a good vibe or not? And it's so weird, like how crazy it is. And I know it sounds really esoteric and sounds way out of the blue, but this is essentially true. And in a way, you cannot really, digest this information just by going through materials or just by, watching these videos. It's like you have to experience this. You have to feel this, this intuition that I'm talking about. You have to feel it. It's like once you feel it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that basically is the video. So the key takeaway is that you do not allow them to source energy from you. You do not react to their triggers. And when you don't react to their triggers, it becomes so much more easier to handle that situation and actually, develop the gut feeling while also, implementing these things in any given social context. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.